No, the third time you showed me.
Grandparents are
Is that all?
biased.
I've hit a few people a lot more.
All right, we will get started, just after 7. Thank you, everybody. Just to let everyone know that this meeting is being recorded and is also streamed live. It'll be available on the YouTube page. I have moving on to number 4.1. I have a motion here moved by Mike Nagel, seconded by Melissa Smith. Be adopted of the Special Events Committee and that those confidential minutes of the closed session of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Full Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. That is referring to Special Events Committee meeting minutes June 2nd, which is in our package. Does anyone have any amendments, changes, additions, corrections? Being none, all in favor? Thank you, carried. Moving on to 5, that the Special Events Committee received and approved payables. I have a motion here moved by Mike, seconded by Melissa, that the Special Events Committee received and approved the payables for May 2025 and June 2025, which is also in our package. Does anyone have any questions on those? I have one actually, which is for Alex, the post engagement ads for Celebrate Canada. What is that? Post engagement ad?
So usually it's an event ad, but there was no event page created for that event, so it was just a page mostly for people to see it and like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so like engagement is in like shares, likes and that stuff.
Okay. That's the only question that I had for it. With everything that's there.
Is the sale of the beer the net after we paid, like, is that what we made or is that the total?
That's just the cost, right, of the beer. All in favor? Great, thank you. Business arising from the previous minutes, Celebrate Canada recap. Well, today, didn't start out the greatest. Weather was not on our side, but eventually turned on our side, and as soon as it did, and the people did show up. Not in great numbers that I would say our committee is used to seeing. Probably the beginning of the day scared them off, I would imagine. All in all, it turned out well. It's interesting, some of the stuff that we had there, like the mechanical bowl and some of the old-fashioned games, was unbelievably well received, more than I thought. Especially the older people got some good workout with the
Right there?
yeah, no, it's the picking up the balls and stuff like that for the thing, so it might be worthwhile to look at down the road, since the committee's getting thinner, that maybe look at getting staff supplied with that, so all in all, I thought it was okay. Food vendors, some made money, some didn't. That's just the name of the game. We had 46 beer tickets sold. We had 12 cars from the Retro Club come out. We would have had a lot more, but they were just, again, scared of the weather. All in all, it was an event, and it's hard to say how successful it was because things not on our side at the beginning of the day, so. There was a couple comments, nothing major online about some of the vendors just not making money. But again, we can't help that. And then some comments about why it wasn't in Wyoming. But it's one of those things that you can't please everybody. We have to try. We're all one, but sometimes it's not remembered, I think, that we're all one. So that's my comments. I'll go around the table and open it up to anyone else that wants to comment, so.
I think you're absolutely right, Brett. I think the whole event would have been so much better if we'd had better weather. I think you're right that it scared a lot of people off and they went, oh, I'm not gonna be out there in that rain and the drizzle and whatever else was coming. But I think the people that were there did enjoy themselves. I did a lot of walking around. I thought everything was very well done by our suppliers that brought in the games for the kids and the riding bowl and stuff. I thought it was very well done. I would definitely recommend doing it again, that's for sure.
I thought the weather looked more threatening than it was. It didn't pour rain or anything, and everything had stopped by the time the event had started. I think calling for it to be really hot, so maybe people thought twice about heading out. I don't know. And I'm wondering if we're focusing on too many food vendors.
That is a consideration, for sure.
I think the layout could have been better too, because like originally we thought there was gonna be the cars and the train, and that would have pulled more people up there. But without the cars and the train and the free cupcakes too, I think there just wasn't a need for a ton of food either.
Might be a consideration if we're gonna have food vendors who pay us to be there, maybe not offer too much and nothing substantial from the committee. And I'll save the committee a little bit of money and get the vendors to hopefully get a little more profit.
Gord?
I think the idea where we had the bike safety close to where the rides were was a good idea. And they were coming for the bike safety and then walking over to the rides. They didn't have as many people as they wished they had in the past, but they still had about 40 or 50 kids come in.
Okay, that's good then. What do they normally have had?
He said they've had up to 75 at times, but that doesn't mean that happens all the time.
So were they, at the end of it all, were they happy with what?
Yes,
What happened?
they were happy. They said they were happy, so. It worked out good, and having them in that portion of the parking lot, was the ideal spot for them, rather than over at the community center.
So,
The train was a hit again,
yeah,
and so was the mechanical bull. Like it had lineups the whole time pretty.
there was some amazing people that ended up on it.
It was Nettie on it.
So did the newspaper.
Other than that, Mike, what were your thoughts on it?
I think we probably would have had 200 more people if the weather had been good. So then I'm a little bit leery of not having more food vendors for that reason. We don't want to just have two for that many people.
The canteen did well. I didn't get a chance to go over and talk to them, but they did well.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
I'm happy for that.
And I think that's the issue too, is that people generally will support community groups over third party vendors a lot more often,
General.
so.
And that maybe if you have the Plympton-Wyoming serving hamburgers and hot dogs, or the canteen and Kanlaki serving hamburgers and hot dogs, maybe avoid vendors who sell something similar to avoid the competition with each other. And try to find vendors who offer something at least somewhat different.
Yeah, I mean, the canteen's menu is quite varied, like they had ice cream, hot dogs, hamburgers and french fries. So like it kind of hit on a lot of the food that the other vendors were offering, but not the same.
I don't have all the costs in just as of yet. We did have a budget for 7,000 and we're, I think right now we're 7,080, so we're pretty much right there on budget. I don't know if I have much more coming in. Nicole, did you ever get from from the Foodland, the receipt? Did they ever send it to you?
Haven't seen it yet.
One side note, an effect of this day, we had over 20 people at the museum, which is unbelievable.
I think I heard Nettie say that the other night at the council meeting, that they had a fantastic day and the tip jar was
Yes.
well used.
Perfect.
That's good. See?
That's good to get some of our gems a little more out in the open, so they're not hidden gems anymore.
I think the selection of rides that we had were definitely unique. They haven't been around before in this area, some of these things. Some of them I would bring back for sure.
I think we could have used a bouncy or something for the smaller kids
Smaller,
too.
yeah.
There wasn't a lot of options for like the little.
I know that one at the picnic in the park, that toddler area was
Yeah.
really well received.
Right. That's all I have, I guess, for Canada Day. Does anyone else have any other comment on it?
Nice to use our deposit up
Yes.
or it expired. That was a good thing.
I think maybe next year, if we try to plan in advance, maybe we can look at doing Canada Day in Kamlaki, but maybe consider doing a parade in Wyoming. Shirley doesn't do a parade anymore. And I heard from several people that they really miss having a parade, and I don't think there's a good way to run a parade. But if we did Canada Day the weekend before and even the parade, like, we could see what the timing looks like next year, but maybe we can make something like that work.
I missed the parade. I was disappointed there wasn't, but we didn't. We put it out there and didn't get any,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but maybe next year we can just run with it.
Yeah.
And then see what we find, because we may also find that like we'll get a good amount of people to come just for the fact that there isn't one anywhere else.
Oh, yeah, and it's fun.
Well, it doesn't have to be big. In Ipperwash, the residents block off the road and drive up and down with Canada Day decorated stuff without any support from anyone. There's a bake sale on the edge of the road and it is what it is. If you're in a vehicle, you can wait.
Well, because maybe like I know the pool usually does swimming on Canada Day, so maybe we could tie it with
Like rain. Canada Day.
potentially, yeah. I mean, I think if we do it on Canada Day, we'd have to time it between what Petrolia is doing, because I think that would be too much, but
I know what works. Again, my mom owns property at Ipperwash, so we're there every Canada Day. They do it at 10 o'clock in the morning. They have a bake sale. Everyone loves it and they have fun for an hour and then they're off on their own for the rest of the day. So in a small community like this, that would easily work too.
Um. So after the Canada Day approximate figures that are in, we're still left with a healthy budget. Like I said, I don't have the final amounts yet, but I don't think I'm too far off, but we're still healthy. Moving on, 6.2, bins and vendors event. Lead-in participation, they are going to be running a bar at the event in the gazebo. Correct? And they're looking after, we have nothing to do with them whatsoever. You,
I haven't checked back with Dawn.
Okay.
I thought of it and haven't just confirm, but she asked me if she could have, if they could have my reservation, and I said yes.
Okay.
And she said they were gonna do all the paperwork the very next day, so this was like 2-3 weeks ago. It was like 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Right.
So I'm guessing that they've got all their i's dotted and t's crossed. I don't know. But I can check that.
We approved it as a special event for their license. They must have applied, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'll check,
Yeah, and then
just so we know, yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to know what, if any, support they want from this committee in the town, because if they have a liquor license, it has to be fenced off too. It can't be just wide open. There has to be some access control. So we got away with it in Kamlaki because there's 2 narrow choke points there that are easily secured. That doesn't exist. Easy.
So do you want to ask them about that too then, Jill, about how they're planning on crowd control, I guess you want to call it, or well, that would be great. Food options, a little bit harder on this one. We do have a food vendor. Mike, thank you for that tip. Anyway, she's excited to do it. It's an ice cream truck. I wouldn't even call it a truck. I would call it more of a
Pardon?
cart. It's
Cute.
unique. It's really unique. She's unique, the lady's really unique. Talk to her.
Who it is. They were actually, she was at the Canada Day thing we had at the Warwick last weekend, and I talked to her for Great Lakes. I said, oh, well, I should get your card and talk. She said, oh, no, Mike's already talked to me. So yes, the ice cream was fabulous and very well received by all the people in Warwick Conservation Area Camping. It was really, really big head.
She's a unique lady.
Yes.
Very nice. She wanted to know what the event was about, so I told her it's like classic 50s, 60s, 70s music. And I said, so if you have anything for like themed food, she goes, oh, honey, I can take care of all that. But she's gonna have root beer floats, Coke floats, like some of the old fashioned stuff, which is kind of cool. And then mini waffle sliders.
Mm,
And I said, I don't know what that is, but this sounds. The other option was, because it's going to be running kind of through supper hour, is a vendor to offer some more stable food. So the food vendor that we did have is not available now. So I did reach out to Councillor Vasey and the Lions. They are looking at maybe being able to help us out in that respect. I haven't heard back yet. Failing that, we got to go to Plan C, which is something.
well, I mean, there is the
Food vendor
the
there
food
now.
vendor there now.
Right.
When does this event go until?
Well, it'll be from 4 till 8.
Okay, yeah, and I think she closes at 8 anyway,
Okay.
so I think that like. Worst case, we do have something there, but it would be nice to have.
Maybe someone should give her the heads up so she makes sure she's
Oh,
got
sure.
extra.
Yep.
That evening.
Surprise.
Do you have her contact info or?
Not on me. We had it somewhere.
I can stop around and see her sometime. Kind of let her know. I would kind of like to know that from.
Yes. Yeah,
Gary, do we have a date for this thing event?
Yeah, August 16th.
16th.
Well, can I get you to pull up that, contraption?
Vacation.
Get you to blow it up if you can.
That's cool.
I should have sent it on a white background, shouldn't I? Or a different color background.
Any idea, right?
Yeah. Al's not here tonight. I had a couple questions for him. I did phone Paul De Silva, and the trailer that we're using is 8 by 24. That's what we currently use now. I guess, are there plans of getting rid of it? Do we know, or is it still gonna be around for?
The existing smaller trailer,
Yes.
I have suggested that we should surplus it once we have our new trailer up and running.
Oh, okay. And is that size the same size, or is it,
New one's bigger,
how big, 10?
bigger. I'd have to get the size too. I don't know off the top of my head.
What's the ETA then of that? Like, would it
Not
be?
very long. We won't be getting rid of one until we have the other, so you're gonna have one trailer, so. If the worst case scenario, you have the small one, best case scenario, you have the big one, and the big one's is a float trailer, so it's a very similar design.
It would look good in the Bernard backyard, wouldn't it?
What would that be, the black background? I got too much right now.
On gut deals.
So, here's the concept with this. Event. Obviously, we had a request from, thank you, Mike, for reaching out to the normal music group for Christmas in the Village. They want to come back. But if it is at the Legion, which is another thing, they don't want where they were last year, which is
understandable.
understandable because it's too tight, right?
Yeah.
So they would like another area. So, okay, so then I got thinking about the trailer that we're getting from Warwick. It's not available because it goes in storage at the end of or somewhere in there.
So we're done with fins and vendors, sorry.
No, not yet. This
Sorry,
is
the story I'm getting there.
Well, circle back.
Yeah. So we need, we do have on order, I guess I should say, the stage from Township of Warwick. And it's $250 was what we're going to pay for it. Then we would need something for Christmas in the Village. And obviously where it might possibly be, it has to be covered. So I'm trying to think of an option if we got a tent. This tent here is not as good as the tent as what the town, what we've just got, but it's almost there. It's an 8x20. And then you buy the 4 panels to basically block it off on 3 sides from the wind. There's definitely a way that we can fasten it to the bed of the trailer. That can still be taken off if. And maybe just set to the side or fold it up or whatever, but I'm just trying to think. If this tent basically, if you've purchased this tent, and I don't have the figures with me, but it's about 600 for that size of quality tent with 4 sides. Basically, if we had to pay $250 for the Fins and Fenders event, and if we had to get something else for the Christmas in the Village event, you're almost at the price of getting this, and then we could use this for picnic and size. And all our normal.
It would be nice. We do ask the musicians to stand up there in sometimes bad weather and in sometimes heat. The other issue too being that we saw it at Picnic at the Park, was it, where they were using like jackets and stuff to cover equipment because it was
Right.
covered. So not, yeah.
I'm trying to think of a dual purpose for this year but would also be used all the time we're always gonna have music in one way or the other for all the events that we're doing. And this would at least protect the equipment and the musicians for those events.
Yeah.
So this was a thought. Now, I don't know if this can be worked into any of the, because it will be used for Christmas in the Village, where this can be used into any of the grants for bringing enhancements. We can worry about that later. If, like I said, if it doesn't, greatness, whatever. This is my thought. I'm open to thoughts, I guess.
Well, the weather's a big problem. The guitars and such.
The trailer.
Found out at Canada Day. We found out the weather's the problem. And what we set up.
I mean, even at Christmas, we could even put some heaters on there too. And it would enclose the heat a bit more and keep the musicians' hands warmer. Can we do something like this on a new trailer? Is that a yes, a no, a maybe, a maybe? Okay.
That's why I wanted to talk to Al or whatever, just to get.
Structurally, putting screws into the deck is not the end of the world, but it'll be hardwood. So it'll be hard to put screws in the deck. They will be, it's not like normal spruce that's. If it's oak, you're probably not putting screws in the deck. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking holes like carriage bolts.
You're drilling holes in the deck.
So the 6 holes will always be there, but we're talking like probably 5/16 maybe. Everything we want for this. But again, these are just some food for thought, but
You
Maybe.
can also you can run a 2x4 right across the trailer and clamp it down to your parts on the side and then just screw into the 2x4.
and that's kind of what I have showing there, Gord. So
See orange in the center so people don't trip on it.
yeah, that's kind of what I have there showing, Gord, is that
Be the
concept.
better way. Cause then you're not really damaging the trailer by any stretch.
Put any holes in it, period.
The odds are, even if we did move forward with this, we couldn't probably get it 4 fins and fenders in August anyway.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, even if the trailer is quite a bit bigger than what we've measured here. So we just center it on the new one. So it's not a big deal. I mean, and about Christmas, we can put a Christmas tree or some decorations on either side if we wanted to. So I don't see that being a big problem. But I like the idea what Gord said is like just have that 2x4 then bolt into that so we're not damaging a brand new trailer.
That's kind of in my mind where I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, probably would have said, is you're not gonna mess up your trailer.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody may have something to say about it.
I'm not keen drilling holes through brand new oak plank.
I totally respect that.
Yeah.
So like I said, the tent is not the cheaper tent and it's not the commercial grade, but it is almost the commercial grade. Actually, the tractor pull committee just bought a tent like that, a 10 by 15. And I headed up last weekend to check it out. It is a really sturdy tent. So I'm sure this one will be just the same. It's made by the same company. And then we'll add on, like I said, the 4 panels, so it's at least 3 covered. 3 sides covered.
So you said about $600 for.
Yeah, it's about
Housing every-
600, 650, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So that was the whole purpose of the morning thought on that. Yeah, it can be multi-purpose though for going forward.
Yeah.
For basically musicians and the equipment.
And if we don't have musicians, we can use the time for something else at the event as well.
Great, right? Great on that.
We could, yes, yes.
By fours, clamps. Screws. Add another couple $100 and $100 on there for supplies. Adding the clamps you use.
So from the town's perspective then, Adam, is that fine? Like, do you have an issue with?
I don't have an issue provided that we're not drilling a bunch of holes into the steel or the oak planking of the new trailer. If it can be done without doing that, that's fine. It has to be structurally stable. So those, you'd have to paint the 2x4 orange. If the tent is fastened to the frame, that's probably better, because if it's not, then you're also gonna have to find a way to fasten the leads for the tent. And then you're probably gonna want to use the nice big rubberized C clamps that with the grip lock, so they can lock down nice and tight. And then because they have rubber tips on them, they won't damage anything either. Right. It's anything's doable. Again, you might want to put an extra $100+ aside for materials to fasten that. But anything's doable.
Do we want to check what the size of the new trailer is first? Because if the new trailer is,
Last agenda.
Isn't last after, yeah.
if the new trailer is substantially bigger, maybe we want to get a little bit more right sized for it, even if there is some space.
It wouldn't be 10 feet wide. Fine, it'd go down the highway. 9 feet max.
Max. I have to look again. Off the top of my head, it's not jumping.
White or a different color.
Wait, just because of Christmas time. maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Black is gonna,
That was last week's meeting.
sides only come in white.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
You look at the size of it.
Yeah, white. Yeah, no, the white's nice.
You talk 25.
You could put like ornaments and
Let's see
stuff
the
in your Christmas.
Yeah, I think it was mostly about the weight, so I'll have to get that less, there's a attachment.
I'm gonna assume probably 9 by 30.
You're gonna carry it over 25 ton.
Backhoe. Instead of driving it up and down the roads, just a lawnmower. Yeah. Our lawnmower is almost as heavy as the backhoe, the trackless, so
Let's see, just 25-foot.
we'll get measurements.
So either way, whether it's 8.4, which is what it is now, it'll work. One way or the other will make it work. Is everybody in favor of this idea? Yes. Be quiet. Is it?
No, I love the idea because especially for going forward for next year, if we decide to change a few things or whatever, like I would like to see that is the stage and just for shows, like little shows like a magician or, you know,
Right.
that kind of thing. So,
We don't have to strictly just keep it for music, or it can be
no.
anything. Entertainment stage. So then I have a motion here moved by Gord, seconded by Mike, that the special events committee approves spending of on the Fins and Fenders event, trailer, sorry, tent.
I think both your grants for Christmas in the village were specific to improving the Santa Claus area and decorations for Christmas. So you know you'll have a little bit more money to spend at Christmas time, but so.
Sorry, I had the wrong paper. It's actually moved by Ingrid, seconded by Gord, that the special events committee approves spending of on a tent for use for music events on the town's float. So 650, add on 150, so say 7. I think I'm quite comfortable with 7, but
I suggest 750 just to give us a little bit of a buffer.
do I hear 8?
Well, no, 750.
We just keep the extra.
Are we okay with 750?
Yeah.
All in favor? Approved, thank you. Nicole, I will get you that link. Okay, so, Fins and Fenders event, I know that I thought we approved spending already.
Yes, we did.
2,500 in the last meeting.
Yeah. I just wondered, because I have a motion here that the spending of one event.
Me to put it on.
Hmm?
You told me to put.
The 2,500 was for the fan. What was that?
21 for the van, 21 for the band, and then,
On page 5 of what we have in our packet.
um.
So
We,
we approved 25, the one, so that gives us money for.
well, we have some advertising in there. But I would like to ask Alex if the one post that's currently running right now for attention standards, we want. We do can we do a post of that in a radius in the area?
Yeah. Yeah, I would also suggest if we create a Facebook event like we have for other events too and promote that.
Yeah.
They just do better because then people will click responding to the event.
Hmm.
So for the music one, we can boost the radius.
We should share, once the event is created, we should share that with Dawn too, because then hopefully the Legion can share it as well.
So
Radius, you think you want like 50?
I would like to go like to London and then whatever that is.
It's about like 90 km radius.
Age group target on there because you can adjust your demographics.
40 plus.
That being said, if we have a budget of 2,500, can I request a change of that up to 3,000?
So do we just request an additional 500?
That way you're not changing it in the motion, but now you're just asking.
Would you like me to word that then?
You wanna advertise all the way out to that area?
Because of the band, they have a lot of, where they are, they have a lot of followers from that area that will, like groupies. Better, lack of a better word, will follow them wherever they go. So I would like a fairly large radius for it, but I'm thinking like that kind of radius might be 75 bucks if you hit it relatively hard with the Facebook post that we have, I'm thinking. Yeah, about a 30-day scenario, that should cover, 75 should pretty well cover that, I believe. So yeah, I would like to advertise quite a lot for this event. So on this motion that I have here then in front of me, do I just say approve spending of an additional 500? Okay. So I have a motion here moved by Gord, seconded by Mike, that the Special Events Committee approve spending an additional $500 on the Fins and Fenders event. Correct. Okay. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And then I do have posters and stuff now for it with the updated sponsors and stuff on here. So we need to get that into Lee as well. So we'll divvy those up tonight. Anything else for vendors?
Your band that you've got, Brent?
Frankie and the Fairlanes. They do a lot of church groups. Car shows. Yeah. Phenomenal music, 50s, 60s, 70s classics. Good show, really good show. I've been to one of them before, very good show.
How long are they playing for?
An hour and 3/4. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Anything else then for Fins and Fenders?
We want to maybe suggest to people in our advertising that maybe come dressed up for that time period, maybe just to make it a little more fun. Fun.
Lead the way, Ingrid.
Okay. I was just at the musical Grease in Imperial City the other day. People were all dressed up. That's what made me think of it. Great production, by the way. And so it kind of got me thinking, actually, that'd be kind of fun to get people engaged in the actual event.
We can definitely do that through social media.
Can I buy it by Brill Cream still?
Sure.
What about the setup of what kind of setup? It's just you bring your own chairs and that's it?
Yeah.
There's no setup, don't have tables for the food vendors?
We'll have some of the town's picnic tables there. I'll kind of get a list for Al, kind of what we need. Not really an awful lot. I'd rather people bring the chair and sit there and.
So that should be in the advertising too, then, bring your lawn chair.
It is, yeah.
In there, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. 6.3 movie night. What are you doing with that?
We're down to 3 movies. I'll know which one they pick by the end of the week is the deadline of those. Right, so you know, I'm just gonna.
And it is what date?
It is August 7th. I believe it's a Wednesday night.
That's in Kamlaki?
And other than the movie equipment, what do you need from the committee?
Would be, yeah, ideally definitely support with the movie equipment. But otherwise, yeah, the activities and the barbecue will be the association.
Would you want the events tent there, or would you rather not have the tent there?
I think we can have it there. I mean, be the end of August, so I guess Christmas in the Village would probably next, or I guess there'd be a Halloween event. So I think it hurts to have the events committee there.
But the reason was, do you want people to think it, like, I'd rather people think it's an association event.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, if the committee is supporting us with the license, though, I think it's totally fine to do as a partnership. I don't think there's any concerns about that.
So what, again, the events committee, are we contributing to the license or anything, or?
I think last time we talked, it was helping half of it, right?
Yeah.
Still open to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I won't know the final cost until we pick the movie.
And you'll look after getting the license and so forth.
And the association will make sure we have the DVD as well.
Okay.
It's not a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
We have council that night.
I've missed the last 2 because of council. It's the last Wednesday before school.
Oh. Put everything on hold.
I'm like, Mr. Chair, we can reschedule that meeting probably. Or finish early.
Well, you know who you have to control. What time's it kick off your movie?
The movie, I believe last year we started Brad, 2 years ago? It was almost, it must have been like 8:30, 8:45, right? When we started.
I mean, by the time we figured out how to get a screen reversed,
Cause it has to be once the sun's starting to set. Yeah, so I think it was around 8:30.
around 8, quarter after, somewhere kind of in there.
So I think we did like a barbecue and stuff starting at 6:37, if I remember. So we could finish our meeting by then, really.
Have an afternoon meeting. It all depends, Counselor.
Okay, yep, I'm good with all of that. Alex. Well, we can talk more about.
I'll send some once we know which movie they land on.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on, 6.4 C container. So again, I was hoping Al was here, but there are a couple issues that I see with the C can container. Number one, it's nice and it's great. Get stuff out of the garage. Yeah, that's good. I think it's a little bit unlevel because whether it's sunk in the gravel a bit, because it is incredibly hard to close the door. When this is the basement, this is the door. It's generally, you can see it's closing at an angle. So to me, that means it's probably settled just a little bit on one corner. We can get it closed, but it is very, very hard. So I don't know whether you can take a quick look at that. The other thing is, I kind of thought that there was some, in talking to Al way back when, I did thought that there was some ventilation in it. There's not. And it is unbelievably, like, I mean, unbelievably hot. So, I'm just concerned with some of the stuff that we're putting in it. It's just too hot. All electronics and stuff like that, I'm keeping it at my house because I'm not about to go there with it. So I'm just wondering if we can maybe, and I can work with Al on this and just talk about some vents, whether a whirly bird on the top or whether 2 vents low, 2 vents high, just to get some cross ventilation.
We'll have the same problem come the winter, then it's gonna be too cold for any electronics or anything in there too, then, right?
Electronics, I'm just not gonna put there
Well,
anyway.
okay.
I would just rather keep them safe and sound.
Yeah.
At home, but I'm not so much concerned about the cold. I'm very concerned about the heat.
I think we knew going into that because it wasn't climate controlled, there wouldn't be a way for us to put some things in storage. A lot of things could go, but.
So again, since our budget is relatively decent, I think you need to spend some money on some C-can ventilation. There are, because of the and I would call them groins, but that's not really the right term. There are special vents that you buy. About $500 for 4 of them. The best price that I could get, plus the works department would have to cut and install and stuff like that. But we need to do something. It's not great having a storage container that is just really hot. Like, I mean, really hot.
You were there in one of the hottest days.
Oh, yeah. I opened the door and I wasn't sure which was worse, whether inside or outside. Yeah. So maybe that's something that we can definitely look at, but we need something. For sure.
Something we can leave with Al, to see if he can make a suggestion on how to do it cost effectively.
Yeah, because there might be cheaper options to do so.
So if you're okay with that, then we'll just leave it with the town and Al to kind of work something out there and let us know, but. We do have a motion on the floor. I need to change it just slightly because most of them asked me to.
Sure, throw me into the
Yeah,
bus.
hey, no problem. Moved by Ingrid, seconded by Gord, that the special events committee approve. I'm gonna say $500 on ventilation and storage totes, because we had to buy some storage totes for use that Melissa purchased.
We do a motion at a previous meeting about.
Yes.
Oh, did we?
Did we?
Okay,
Yeah.
Did we?
I thought it was for the.
Oh, right, definitely did.
Okay,
Hold on. Notes.
okay. That's right then.
We get reimbursed.
I'll submit my expensive, if they get rejected, I'll come back.
So regarding that motion, then would be the best thing just to kind of wait to hear what Alvin get back with. Yeah.
Yes, maybe because of, maybe what, for now. Like, I'm gonna bring you back an estimate and we'll figure that out.
Okay. Everyone's okay tabling it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Christmas in the Village, moving on, 6.5, Christmas in the Village. There's gonna have to be some serious discussion on Christmas in the Village this year. For a variety of reasons. One of them in talking with the line, but grounds that we are familiar with be available at time. Due to a possible construction of a gazebo, I believe it was. Councillor Vasey is to get back to me kind of on whether they're going to be available permit wise and grounds wise, but it may not be till September, October, maybe early November, which is dangerously close for us to kind of switch gears at the last second. Not like we haven't done for, I mean, we can, but I think we should maybe get our ducks in a row ahead of time for option B. He did reach out to the Egg Society, to the president there, to ask if it was okay to have it on the grounds. I have to check with the lady that does the scheduling. In my mind, I think there's one or two events around that time traditionally that would happen. But I also think that maybe Melissa and myself should show up probably next month's meeting. To kind of present our plans to the fairgrounds. We wouldn't ask anything from them. If the ladies wanted to make Christmas cookies, great, but I mean, we would just need the use of the building. And the grounds, and when we have our traditional Christmas in the Village meeting, we'd have to do some serious plot planning, I guess, with them. So that is issue number one.
Yeah, because I think if we're holding it at the fairgrounds too, we need to see, because like the lion has generally done the cookies and the craft stuff inside.
Right.
So whether that I decided to work that together or.
I think they probably would like to be involved a little bit more. But again, that's something that we would have to gauge as we're going there and have a meeting with them, I think is only the right thing to do. It would work well in terms of the tractor parade, because we always wanted to include them. And I felt that they were left out this year even though it's a short walk, I thought that they were left out. So it would work well in that respect. It would work well in terms of parking. It would work well in terms of,
It does give us more space.
which is our intention of always expanding this event, right? There is, depending on where we do it on the grounds, there is lighting that will work in our favor, for that time of year when we run it,
We could
without
also-
having to purchase.
We can
lights.
also look at putting Santa inside, which might be nice for Santa.
It's an option, but we kind of weren't going to do that because we'd already had some grant money for.
Right, but we could use that inside still and make like a cute little
We
workshop.
could, yeah, that's an option. Yep, that's,
Which would be, I think, nice, because it can be cold maybe outside.
definitely can be an option. So that is predicament number one, but I don't really think that as a predicament. I look at it as a possibly good opportunity. But I'm still waiting to hear back from how far the Lions are going to be undergrounds with that.
We're targeting December 13th, right?
Number 13th is when it's scheduled, yeah. The other thing is we're just confirming with the big man himself that he is going to still be able to stop around during his timing. So.
Here, this is for you. I'll take this opportunity if the big man is unavailable and he chooses to send a regional designate for these purposes. If it's someone if the designate is not someone who we're familiar with, a police background check may be required because they are working with new children.
You can do. So those are the two things right now with Christmas in the Village. It's a long way off, but the way this year's going, it's not a long way off.
The couple things that we ran into with issues with Christmas in the Village last year being somebody has benches somewhere. And I have no idea who it is, but somebody
know.
has benches. And it would be nice to figure out who is early so
Yeah.
that we can line them up.
Yeah.
And the firewood. We really should be finding somebody soon that is willing to keep dry firewood for us and donate it at Christmas time.
Well, so what was the first part? I'm sorry, we couldn't. hear.
Benches. 2 years ago, somebody brought benches to go around the campfires.
Right.
No idea where they came from.
No one seems to remember that.
No.
Even the Legion.
I thought it was the fire department, honestly, but
So I don't know, maybe we can email our Christmas in the Village group with just like a couple things that would be nice to get in people's minds now.
I think the firemen did that because they had all that area out there. That was kind of their world, wasn't it? In charge of that fire and all that stuff.
It may be, but last year when we talked about it, they said it wasn't them. So.
I got benches.
So I feel like it was somebody, because I remember us talking about it last year, and I feel like it was somebody said they knew who had them, but that person was gone on vacation. So maybe we can email around early and figure out where those came from. And I don't know if anybody has a contact for firewood or if we have somewhere to store firewood.
A cord of firewood for under $100.
I have no idea how much firewood we have.
That's a lot.
Cord is a lot. It's a lot more than you're gonna burn that night.
Exactly. And I'll donate it personally.
We do need to keep it dry though. That was the fireman's biggest issue last year was it wasn't dry.
No problem. I can take care of that.
We were kind of blamed. The committee was blamed for not having dry fire, but that wasn't our thing.
Yes. But I'm getting my ducks in a row.
I know, like, wasn't our portion of the event, should I say. Anyway, if you're okay with it all, then I think Melissa and I should maybe get in contact with Loran, the president, and just maybe we'll go there and talk about what may be coming and just gauge their
Interest.
yeah.
The cord is enough then?
Yes.
It's out of circuit from November on, so
We'll have to keep it.
All right.
I'll get that.
that's okay. There's a
Replacement.
like,
Okay, all right.
no, it's not me. They don't want me back.
The storage totes you think was taken care of before, right? Yeah, okay. So ventilation thing, we've tabled that, okay, anyone else have anything on Christmas in the Village right now that's on their minds?
We have the budget for Christmas in the Village.
Yeah.
Are we buying more decorations for Christmas in the Village? Like, do we want like candy canes that light the path? Do we want more lights? Do we want something?
Well, we do have a budget, yes. Now, in terms of the Community Futures Grant and the other grant that we have, can you let me know what's maybe left over? We're going from a place that we made them get lights.
Yes.
Now, have
Yeah.
no lights.
Yes.
So yes, we will need some decorations
Yeah.
for sure.
The Bernard Christmas trees, were you doing something else to that, Brad? The one you put up out there?
It'll be at the fairgrounds. I'm hoping at the corner of the the parking lot at the front corner there where the trailers always used to be for the fair, like kind of there so people can have at least a 270-degree view of it.
I think it's just part of Billy Siff's carryover,
That's quite possible, yeah.
an elite court over to.
Yeah.
You won't notice the extra hydrant.
Do you have to do anything more to it, or is it?
It's ready to go. Yeah, it's fine. I would like to maybe, I'm still tossing this one up, but the connection points at the top, and Gordon knows what I'm talking about on this one. I would like to maybe change it just a little bit to something that is easier to install, because it'll be installed a couple days before actually. It might only be $100, but I'm still in my mind working on that one through, but that's the only thing. It's just that. Other than that, everything else is fine.
So if Nicole comes back with what's left in our budget for the next meeting, can you come back with any bigger Christmas decorations we might be able to afford?
Maybe we all could, right?
Well, you have better connections. than
Yeah.
us.
Timing won't be good on some of those things, so, but we do need some.
Yeah.
For sure.
You were talking about tents, the Christmas, the tent sides for the tent, right?
Yeah.
Cause you're gonna have Santa.
Yeah.
And you're also talking about a nicer chair, so.
Oh, the chair's okay though, right? I think the chair's good.
Yeah.
Someone was talking about it, I was just
Okay.
remembering.
Because the town just purchased one not too long ago, right? Like a couple years ago?
Probably 8 years ago when we started the process.
Wow. Okay. You should stay there permanently.
What's that?
You should stay there permanently.
Me, can I see in my office?
Okay, so we'll kind of regroup on this Christmas in the Village event, but I just wanted to kind of let everybody know right now the scenarios maybe that we're facing.
Did we reserve the building in Kamlaki for the fall event for the Halloween?
Not yet. What date is that one?
Oh, boy. Yeah. No, I'm not here.
25th.
So it is, okay.
25th of October.
Can you see if
Sure we are.
I thought we did.
we put?
Yeah.
We sent all our dates.
Perfect.
What about the magician for Halloween? Shouldn't he be booked?
There's a couple things that Melissa actually was asking me about. There's two feelers that I put out there for somewhat similar price range. I'd hate having the same guy back 2 years in a row. Personally, I just hate that. But there's other options for kids that will be just as entertaining as this guy. So price wise is same, more local though. So I'll try and come back with that at the next meeting. But yeah, we need something. So
That guy was good.
he was very good. Oh yeah, he was very good.
Scary good.
From Toronto, that was the only thing. So it's a little far away, but there's other options, so. So the only other thing I have is number 9 under new business committee members. As a chair, I hate to see anybody go, from the team that we built here. But there's 2 members that left and just because of life reasons, and that's fine, and I accept that. So we're down now 2. So I guess I need to throw it out on behalf of town, because they would advertise for us. Do we want more committee members? Do we need more? And do we ask the town to advertise for committee
I thought we
members?
just had an open posting for them.
It was a few months ago,
Okay.
but we were at our number. So it was removed.
Okay. It probably doesn't hurt then to add more.
Well, we're all getting older
Yep.
and more tired.
If you don't keep your members.
Re-advertise?
Now then you.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is
It up.
everyone okay that we ask the town to advertise for us and for committee members?
We have 2 applications on file. After we received the max number, so that is a consideration, but I also think it would also be good to public advertise too, to see what's out there. If you get a bunch of great ones, we can have discussion about expanding numbers. Or we can look at reducing numbers too, if you want a smaller group, so, probably a good idea to advertise for a couple months, or at least a month, see what interest we can get and go from there.
I think given it's the summer, probably advertising for a couple months isn't necessarily a bad thing. 'Cause some people might not be wanting to commit to something new until September.
I would ask that in the advertising or somewhere along the line, before people are accepted, that the minimal requirements are put on there. One general meeting, at least one subcommittee meeting per month, more if there's events coming up. And X amount of hours per month that you should be able to set aside to actively participate. So,
It's kind of one of those unwritten things that we all do an awful lot of chatting in the group. We doing a lot of research. A lot of us do a lot of research, and a lot of extra time, which at the end of the day is all fine because things are rolling, like this committee, where it started from to where it is now, it's not hard for us to plan the events because we already know. And it just rolls. But for someone stepping in, some new one stepping in, I just don't want them to sit on their laurels. I just would like them to actively participate to continue to make it roll easy.
well, I think there's more time involved behind the scenes than people think too, especially if it's a new event. So, you know, like we're on a nice, we know who likes to do what and how, and about how long it's going to take them. But somebody outside the committee doesn't realize that, and they come in and say, what, it takes you that long to do that, you know, kind of thing. It's not hours and hours and hours, but I think people should know that they're going to have to set aside, or they're going to have to know how many hours they need to commit on an average per month to the committee.
I don't know if I'd want Brad to give you those hours, because your hours are too.
Oh, yeah.
Not Brad's hours.
No, if you wanted to give me suggested hours as a committee member that I should be looking for, that'd be helpful.
Well, I would say on an average, because there's always more when events are coming up, but I would say on an average of 2 to 3 hours per month outside of meetings.
Yeah,
By the time you do
Outside of meetings.
or you distribute posters and signs and pick them up again, and those are the easy jobs. You know, but you make phone calls or send emails, receive emails, make lists, confirm, all of that kind of thing. It's more than what people think.
How many hours, how many times do you meet as a subcommittee, and how many hours does that take?
I'd say on average once a month.
Average once a month. There, if it's more if there's an event.
Yeah, 2 hours probably.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a commitment of 6 hours, on average,
Right.
6 hours a month.
Gil's just dovetailing on what Gil's saying. You want somebody that has some creativity, that comes up with some good new ideas. Keep things rolling here, you know, like you can get very complacent in the routine stuff. But people like to see something new too, so.
Last thing I want us to become is stale.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. You don't know how many hours I put. Anyway, it's fine. I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it. I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have anything that they want to talk about?
I got 2 items, one comes around, sorry. Just a word of caution, we have to be careful about planning new events in the public forum. As we talked about early in the year when we're developing budgets and everything, the selection of a new event, we should have all the preliminary discussions in the public forum, just to make sure that we're following processes. That would be great. And then I was contacted by one of the vendors at the Commercial Plaza in Reese's Corners, and they thought about having that a vendors event at the plaza would be a great idea. Kind of, showing the support for the new tenants there and them being able to show their products along with other local Plympton-Wyoming vendors. And I just wanted to know if there would be any interest in this committee of helping them organize that, or if you could already have enough on your plate.
What kind of vendors are talking?
It would be very similar to what you would like to see at summer send off, but smaller in scale and more just to bring knowledge that those couple of vendors that have moved there, they wanted to, have something to show to the community and give back, but also help promote local Plympton-Wyoming companies. So it was just a thought, so I'm just bringing it forward as a thought. I don't have a lot of details. I just want to know if there's any interest in at least having a discussion. If there is, I can put the vendor in touch with someone from the committee that they can talk to see whether it's something that could work out. And if it's not, it's not.
I think it's a great idea. I'd like to, personally, I would like to see more involvement with the community.
I feel like there's a lot of vendor shows out there already. Summer send off is big. There's a lot of Plympton-Wyoming vendors that build the summer send off. I think given that that we already have a large scale event in Kamlaki that works, I don't know that we want to get into vendor shows.
The Legion has a big one too.
Yeah.
I wonder if perhaps I wonder if there could be an opportunity for if and when the entire building is full, the town can support them with an open house.
That could probably to
So if,
make it less about a special event.
yeah, so maybe once all those units are full, we talk to all of them and just say, this Saturday, we're doing an open house at the Reese's Corners Plaza. So you can check out, because those vendors put some money into those units. So maybe that could be what their event is. It takes not this committee, it's just more so ran by those businesses and the town can help them with an open house to start building.
That's right.
Many are empty too.
Technically right now there's one remaining, yeah,
Close.
but close.
Oh, perfect.
I think that would draw people because they want to go see what has been done with the building. I mean,
Well, there's still a liquor store
yeah,
too.
a liquor store can do an open house and maybe we'll do samples.
Love that idea.
Murphy Door does samples of wine. I don't see that. No, I think that's fine. It was just something that they threw out there. I suggested that a partnership with the special events committee might be worth it.
I think it'd be
That was
fair.
also before we're doing fins and vendors, so I've got a little more experience with that, so.
I think it's a fair thing that the town could support them on, I think, because it's our building, so.
I hate saying no to anybody, but I mean, maybe there's a way that we could work. The committee could work in with them. I don't think it would work as a standalone event, but the open house scenario. And then we could somehow participate somehow.
But we could even just bring our tent and maybe one or two of us, because I mean, it doesn't hurt to get more exposure as well, since the days out.
They all put our posters up.
Yes.
Yeah. And if it was an open house, I'd have myself and or staff would be there with our tent too, so I'm sure we could figure out something, so I'll touch base with the vendor and see if once we get a little further down the road on that final unit whether that will work out, and then if it's a town event, I'll bring it back to council as an FYI.
Speaking of future events, is the town going to be at summer send off, or do you know yet?
At this time, well, the town always supports summer send off with staff. I don't have a plan to have a booth there because I was planning to have a booth at the fair.
So what about, we put a booth there?
Well,
That's what I wanted to say. We talked about that
we
last
talked
year.
about it last year, and it's early enough in the season that we should probably bring that up again. They do get a lot of people going to it, especially residents of the Kamlaki area, which sometimes we struggle to get them to our events. Like having a booth there with our tentative dates and
Yep.
like our dates from this year, tentative dates for next year, and a link to our Facebook page
Yep.
would not be a bad idea.
Yep.
And really, we only need one or two people there for the day.
I would like to take that opportunity to ask people directly, what would you like to see us do?
Well, and maybe we could
Survey
open up our survey early. We could have a paper survey. We could have links to our online survey.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea.
Stuff like that.
What's
Yeah.
the time frame?
Summer send off is
September.
This summer.
And weekend is the fair.
Mid-September, right?
I'm happy to volunteer to go to it part of the time. I like to go to summer send off, so I'm fine to do part of it.
I've never been, so I should go.
It's good.
I've never even heard of it until I joined the committee, so.
I'll join you. I'm just down the street from it.
Perfect. Gord can cover me while I go shopping. No, I don't bother bringing them.
So who do we have to let know that we'd like a booth?
Can the events committee just reach out to Summer Send Off directly?
Yep.
Yeah. Give you an email.
Yeah, that would be great.
Suggest that we shouldn't necessarily pay for the booth since we don't charge for the park.
I was going to ask that question, but that's helpful.
Do they have to approach council still?
They haven't approached yet, no.
But they will have to. I wonder if
Yep.
we'll probably bring it up then too.
Yep.
I'll soft launch it though.
Anybody have anything else? Then I have a motion here moved by Melissa, seconded by Mike, that the special events committee adjourn until August 11th, 2025 at 7 p.m. All in favor? Great, thank you very much.